Thank you, Dean Brown. I am honored to stand here today. I want to thank the amazing faculty in the School of Computing and Electrical and Computer Engineering departments, as well as my family and peers for helping me reach this point in my life. It's amazing to think that all of those experiences and opportunities that we have long dreamed of are finally within our reach. And for that, we should all be proud of ourselves and the people who aided us on this long and difficult journey. I want to use this time to talk about how my life has changed for the better during my 6 years at the University of Utah. When I joined the University of Utah, I was fortunate enough to earn the Honors and Entrance Scholarship. I knew that maintaining the scholarship would require high marks, and so I decided to dedicate all of my energy toward my studies. I was far from the best student in high school, and as I knew little about computer engineering coming in, I believed that this goal would transform me into the ideal successful student. I ended up prioritizing my grades over everything else, to the point where I rejected opportunities to spend time with my friends and family, or volunteer for outreach events, or basically do anything not directly related to my studies. I remember the many weekends that I spent boxed up in my room, insistent that I study from dawn to dusk and not waste any time outdoors. And I remember 4 years ago, when 2 of my peers invited me to lunch with them, and I felt such a strong sense of guilt, abandoning my studies and joining them. My life took a dramatic turn at the end of my second year. I learned that my mother had developed pancreatic cancer, and that her doctor estimated that she had less than a year to live. My world turned upside down that day. I was always close to my mom, and I imagined that she would be with me throughout college and beyond. And as her condition grew worse, never before had the reality that I would lose her been so painfully apparent. I lost my mother 1 year after her diagnosis. I think about her every day, and I will always miss her. After her death, I was bitter, wondering why my family had experienced such tragedy. I was jealous of virtually anybody who seemed content with their lives. My self-esteem plummeted to an all-time low. But because of the shock of my mother's death, I was forced to take a step back from school. I ended up rethinking a lot of things. I thought about how, before she passed away, my mother often expressed remorse over taking some parts of life so seriously. And I also truly began to understand how much I loved the time that I had spent with her, and just how much she mattered to me. With time and the help of others, I was able to accept the tragedies that struck my family. And finally, I did away with my old ways of thinking. I allowed myself to embrace the diversity of the opportunities around me. I started scheduling time for friends and family, and for myself at the gym. I volunteered for outreach events, served as a teaching assistant, and I now have a job lined up with Microsoft. And I achieved those things not because I'm some sort of superhuman, but because my mother's death completely shattered the perceptions I had of the world around me and made me reconsider what truly matters to me. Now, not all of us have experienced an immediate death in our family, but we have all suffered through dark days, whether it was worrying about paying the rent on time, or worrying about the future, or dealing with any of the surprises that life throws at us. What I want you all to take away from my story is that every struggle that we face is a chance for us to correct the mistakes that we make as we carve our path through life. Even though the tragedy that I faced sunk me lower than ever before, it made me realize that the moments when we feel weakest are the same moments when we grow strongest. And so, as we step further into our futures today, understand that no struggle can defeat us if we are willing to ask ourselves the hard questions. What are my goals? Why do they matter to me? What am I doing to achieve my goals? And if any of you today wonder or doubt in the back of your mind whether you will attain success in your future, understand that nobody walks through life without making mistakes, and recognize that our future success does not depend on us never making mistakes. It depends on us finding that courage within ourselves to recognize, accept, and learn from our mistakes. Thank you, and best wishes to you all.